Why probability never feels fair. Everyone knows the rules. The odds are clear. The math is sound. And yet, the outcome still feels wrong. To understand why probability feels so deeply unfair, we need to separate logic from experience. Probability is built on averages, long runs, and repeated trials. It describes what happens eventually, not what happens to you. And that gap is where frustration begins. In theory, chance is neutral. A fair coin has no memory. Each flip is independent. Over time, outcomes balance. But human life is not lived over infinite trials. It is lived moment by moment, where streaks feel personal and losses feel targeted. This matters because probability governs everything from games to insurance, medicine, and justice. It is used to assess risk, make decisions, and justify outcomes. Yet when probability meets reality, it collides with expectation. Early thinkers believed probability would bring clarity. By quantifying uncertainty, it would make decisions rational. But what they didn't anticipate was how badly intuition would fail. People expected balance to appear quickly. They expected fairness to feel fair. Instead, probability delivered long losing streaks, rare disasters, and uneven outcomes. The math was correct. The experience was not comforting. And the more people learned the rules, the more unfair the results seemed. Probability did not betray expectation. It exposed it. And that exposure would only grow more uncomfortable. The discomfort deepens when probability is applied to real consequences. In medicine, a treatment that works for 90% still fails for someone. In safety systems, rare accidents still happen to real people. The math promises low risk, not immunity. This reveals a harsh truth. Probability is collective, but experience is individual. The same numbers that justify decisions at scale offer little comfort to those who fall into the unlucky minority. From their perspective, the system failed completely. Psychologically, this clashes with how fairness is understood. People expect balance within their own lives, not across a population. They expect streaks to even out quickly. When they don't, probability feels biased, even hostile. The problem is amplified by visibility. Rare events attract attention. Losses are remembered more vividly than gains. The mind builds narratives around patterns that do not exist. Probability is drowned out by storytelling. Even worse, probability does not correct misunderstanding on its own. Learning the rules does not fix intuition. Knowing the odds does not prevent disappointment. The math remains cold. The outcomes remain personal. This creates tension in every system that relies on chance. Trust erodes when people experience loss, even if the system behaves exactly as designed. Fairness becomes a feeling, not a calculation. And probability is terrible at managing feelings. The conflict peaks when probability is used to justify decisions without context. Policies, prices, and punishments are defended with statistics, even when outcomes feel cruel. The math is invoked as authority, shutting down debate. This reliance creates moral distance. Responsibility shifts from people to numbers. If the odds were acceptable, the outcome is treated as unavoidable. But for those affected, inevitability offers no relief. At the same time, probability hides inequality. Averages smooth out extremes. Risk is spread mathematically, but suffering is not. The same probability can mean trivial inconvenience for one person and catastrophe for another. Attempts to fix this often backfire. Adding more data makes models more precise, but not more humane. Narrowing uncertainty reduces surprises, but also reduces empathy. The numbers grow sharper while understanding stays flat. The emotional core of the conflict is mismatch. Probability speaks the language of groups. Humans live as individuals. When those languages collide, fairness fractures. Probability was meant to clarify uncertainty. Instead, it often becomes a shield against responsibility. And that misuse deepens the sense that chance itself is unjust. The resolution begins when probability is treated as a tool, not a verdict. It describes risk. It does not decide worth. Once this distinction is made, systems can be designed to respect both math and humanity. In practice, this means pairing probabilities with safeguards. Rare failures are planned for, not dismissed. Outliers are supported instead of ignored. Decisions account for impact, not just likelihood. This shift restores trust. People accept uncertainty more easily when they know the system will respond with care. Fairness stops being about equal odds and starts being about shared responsibility. Probability never promised comfort. It promised understanding. When used wisely, it helps manage risk without erasing empathy. When used blindly, it alienates the very people it is meant to serve. The lesson is simple but difficult. Math can guide decisions, but it cannot replace judgment. Fairness is not found in numbers alone. It is built into how outcomes are handled. Sometimes the smallest shift in perspective becomes the beginning of a new future.